All right. So, for the sake of time, because we're getting ready to you know what? Most of y'all on this channel know the situation. Most of y'all know what we've been dealing with here. And I wanted to come on here before back. Okay, let me start over what I was saying. So, I've got this is a really important announcement, and you know what? I'm not going to keep repeating myself. I'm not. If you're a person that doesn't want to listen and you want to come on here and laugh and be goofy and listen freaking laugh tracks and brutal, weird, aggressive, unattractive men, then have at it. But before I get my work done, because I got to clean out my large cauldron, I got to get her cleaned out. Because I'm getting ready to get some stuff done. I wanted to come and talk to you all about Maybon. And see, when I put Sabbaths in the titles, people just seem to ignore. And I think that it's really literally because, you know what? I'm going to change the title because I think that people that either are on an agenda, people that want to trap you, people that are corrupt have literally somehow changed the consciousness. And that is sad because I'm going to tell y'all something. I don't know. Like I'm very, no, I do know. I'm very optimistic all day, every day. So I'm not negative. It's been 13 years of harassment, and my mind still works the way that it works. Can't nobody, can't nobody take me off of my path. Okay. So, what I wanted to talk to y'all about is an immediate, urgent need for a lot of you guys. And if your name is not specifically on my list, it's not going to just magically and automatically help you. The work that we're going to be doing for the next month. And so this is very important. Again, y'all need to be paying attention to me. Instead, y'all pay attention to garbage. I noticed that, and I can't help you. If you can't comprehend something other than destructive, self-destructive, self-devaluing, self-depreciating, sick language, then I don't know why you would even be interested. You shouldn't even have my name in your mouth, baby. You shouldn't. You shouldn't even try to even pretend that you could ever put yourself up there with me. Maybe I should change this title. I'm going to change the title real quick, loves. I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm back. So, if you refresh, you'll see the new title. It says Last Announcement, Urgent Karma Clearing Needed Immediately. Immediately. Okay. So, I wanted to come and talk to you guys about what it is that you're dealing with. And I can tell you, can I get a reading on when the bum will have a heart attack? Um, That's interesting that you would bring that up because he will eventually have one. That's going to happen. As far as me reading into it, if you want to call and ask me that, if you want to schedule a reading to ask me that, you can. But I'm just saying that my spirits are being very careful about what it is that we are dealing with at this point. So, literally, as far as with YouTube is concerned, I plan to be gone from here until after Maybon. I'm until after the official day of Maybon. This is the last announcement. This is literally your last chance to make a better decision for your life. Otherwise, I'm gonna tell y'all something. There's me, Jamila Shante Briscoe. There's Jacob Anthony Briscoe. There's Tyrese Amore Lomax. There's Deja Nicole Childress. There's Danielle Maya Childress. There's Daniela Childress, that is named after her mother. And then there's I'm not going to give out his name, but we're good anyway. Okay. I have a grandbaby. Okay. All of my clients that are loyal and have paid me, we are not no modern day Jesuses. We are not. So, therefore, we are doing some heavy work. I think that a lot of you guys that need timeline shifted, reality shifting, I think that y'all need to do personal work. But I think that right now, there is an urgent need of karma clearing of the enemies and the adversaries. And I have to be in certain places. I have to be in certain positions in order to do that. And it has to be done. I'm not talking to somebody that's necessarily into that sector. I'm trying to get through to my clients or, people that are supposed to be my clients. Okay. Y'all need to listen to me very carefully. It's not just the empaths. It's not just the witches. They are looking constantly for people to push their negative karma on. This is one of the reasons why I would never do Reiki. I would always read the situation. I would never ever let somebody come to me, lie to me, and say, hey, somebody sent me some negative energy. Can you send it back? No, I need to research the situation. Because how do I know that that negative energy that you're supposed to work out, the messes that you're supposed to clean up, how do I know that you didn't send that negative energy to that person or persons unfairly? So I don't play that mess. It's not just the empaths and the witches. It's everybody right now. What this spiritual warfare is based upon is innocent people taking on the negative karma of drug addicts, of alcoholics, the mentally ill, child predators, child abusers, drug dealers, Those people, the unsavories of society, have literally been working within the spiritual community to find and to attack and besiege the scapegoats. This is literally what's happening. It's not just happening to me. It's not just happening to my family. It's happening worldwide. If you are a good person, if you are someone that possesses any kind of purity about yourself, you are being used as a sponge right now. Instead of these people transmuting their own negative energy, instead of these people taking accountability and facing the music for their actions, you are taking on that energy, not just from that person that is the representative of their clan, but then also their mama, they whole family, and family curses, and any other dishonest, unsavory person that they have within their fold on a regular basis. They have high priestesses, Reiki technicians, preachers on a regular basis using people as scapegoats so that their bad energy and spirits can go and squat inside of you and ruin you so that you can deteriorate and suffer the karma and live the lifestyle of that person and their mistakes and their iniquities. That is exactly the agenda that we are dealing with right now. And you know what? The goddess spirit wants justice, and they will make it happen. That's what's wrong. It's not the economy. It's not gas prices. It's not the weather manipulators. All of that stuff is being spoken about as a distraction. Doesn't matter if you have a job. Doesn't matter if you don't have a job. If you have money. If you own Section 8. If you get food stamps. Wherever you're at economically, it doesn't matter. I'm going to tell you guys a quick story, real quick. So, yesterday, when I spoke to DFAX, like I said, very beautiful black woman, pregnant, very beautiful, pregnant black woman. And I believe that she needed to speak to me. I believe that she needed to be near me, which is fine. I understand it is a lot of trauma and pain and suffering of the little children that is happening on this earth, especially over here in Georgia. So I get it. However, for 13 years, hardcore for the past 10 years, myself, not necessarily my family, because I stand in front of my children and grandchildren as a guardian. This is the reason why I have had my body break down. I have looked crazy sometimes. I have went gray, but I don't care. If it, my children, they deserve to have their vitality. They deserve to have their health. They deserve to have their lives. As their mother, it is my responsibility to make sure that they are covered and protected. As the mother, I am their first line of defense. Not even God. I stand in front of all my loved ones, my children, my grandchildren, even my familiar, as their guardian. Okay. So, what I realized a few years back and what I've been knowing is that all of the karma, all of the pain, all of the suffering, not of the children, because I deal with their pain anyway. If you guys must know, one of the reasons why I cannot work a regular job is because on a regular basis, I have the souls of children that come to me for healing. And this has been something that I've been dealing with since 2020. So trust me, I didn't need the rest of the stuff. So I've got the children. I can't do anything but heal them. If somebody else don't love their child or look after them, I can't do nothing but heal them and help them, help them move forward, be reincarnated or something. That's all I can do. So I'm not normal. I'm a high priestess of many things, and that is one of my main responsibilities is the children. And they know it. The evil doers, they know this. I've spoken about this for years. What has been happening has been evil, diabolical, to where many of us, including myself, have been taking on the negative karma of the abusers, of the child murderers, the people that have done wrong. They have been transferring their negative karma to us, not just the child abusers, the drug dealers, the drug addicts. Everything that is wrong to them, the agenda, and what has infiltrated the spiritual community and almost ruined it is people that want to use others as a scapegoat and as a house for all of their iniquities and sins and curses. Instead of them working it out, for some reason, they have been stuck in a constant loop, which gets them nowhere really. It doesn't. That's why they'll never manifest it truly what they want. And some of them just want happiness. Some of them just want peace, but they'll never get it because you're never going to do it that way. But the process of them doing that is still bad. They are being encouraged to do that by irresponsible people. It has not just been happening to me. I think that when people want to avoid something, same thing, the reason for the crucifixion of Jesus. But you know what? Even Jesus tells me that he's evolved since then. And they cannot ever argue with that. Okay? Instead of these people working out their issues, they're trying to do it the quick way. And the quick way turns into 10, 20, 30 years of just creating nothing, a void, because that's not how it works, actually. Not in our timeline, not necessarily in our lifetime, in this incarnation, and probably not beyond this one. This is what's been happening. So many of you guys for example, if it's somebody that has really bad luck and they don't know how to deal with it, they are using Reiki and pushing that bad luck onto other people. This is a fact. Whatever it is that's wrong with them. Now, if you guys remember, I started Divine Services in 2015. It took me 3 years to get my company off the ground. The reason why I was able to do those 3 years is because when I first started my company, I was on Section 8. So I had that cushion to help me push through. That was my good luck. It was a blessing. It was a stepping stone. And that is my story. And I have every right to my growth, to everything. Nobody has the right to take that away from me. So basically, what I did was I was able to grow. I was able to actually sit and deal with and work through ancestral trauma. And I did it the right way. Not once have I ever said, hey, we've got this going on in our family and that going on in our family, because we all know that incest, drugs, all that stuff that they do, that creates what in their family? Poverty and sickness. Yeah, we all have somebody like in our family that suffers from poverty, that suffers from sickness. My generational stuff I handled on my own. I don't even really talk about it because most people are not even ready to hear it. Most people couldn't even accept it. As far as with illnesses and sicknesses that they say run through your bloodline, I'm not going to get into the wisdom of that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to ever do that. I'm not going to ever do that out here on these YouTube streets. I'm not, because that right there, I mean, it's gotten people killed before. It's gotten people stalked before, and I don't discuss that. Okay? Right now, what I want to tell you guys is that I am pulling away and pulling all of my energy back off of this website. I'm done. However, what we are working on right now is I am willing to work with a Maybon group. This is the perfect time to do it. The point of that group is to clear the recipients in the group of karma that does not belong to you. It's somebody else's. It may be several people. It could be hundreds of people. It doesn't matter. Trust me, I've dealt with it for years. I was built for this. I was born for this. So it doesn't matter. It can be a million people. Doesn't matter. Okay. So that's what we're going to be working on with Maybon. It is probably one of the greatest gifts that God is going to give to us all. Now, the enemies who know that they're trying to put their negative karma on you, they're trying to create this place called oblivion. So the reason why they attack empaths and witches and stuff is because they think that we can just take their bad energy and say, "Up, I'm just going to put that in oblivion." Then they also think that we're supposed to take all of that and we're supposed to transmute it. Impossible. Impossible for that to happen. So the way that we're going to do it, and this that we're doing, this project that will involve not only Maybon, it'll be during Maybon season, just shy of Lugnasada, but it will also involve all of the other 8 witches Sabbats. The work that we're going to be doing is factually going to be very strategic, phenomenal in clearing you of the enemy's negative karma. Now, some of y'all refuse to let it go, and that's where it's going to be a problem. People that can't let go, people that latch on to negativity and they just want to talk about it, they just want to be in that energy for some reason. Hopefully, you'll take the advice and work on yourself to release that stuff, because it is going to eventually hurt you. It's going to hurt you. It's going to kill you. It's going to make you sick. It's going to make it impossible for you to transmute your own stuff, for you to heal. And it's going to have a disastrous effect. And you know what? Y'all think the thing of it is that you take it for granted. There's no gratitude of the wisdom that you have, and you think that you just got all this time, and you don't. So not only are we clearing it from your mind, body, and spirit, but we're also going to clear it from your timeline, because that's something that I have to do anyway, and I have to be very specific about it. So there needs to be meetings set up, and I can't do all that for free. So for little to nothing, information is going to be important. Certain things that happen to you, dates, going back, when you met people, when certain people came into your life. For me to do your timeline clearing, that is going to be very important. I'm going to be doing that within the Maybon group. However, there's certain things that I need to be able to do. Right now, where I'm at, I can't go outside and do a damn bonfire. And y'all know it. So I can't really do what I'm supposed to do. And see, we've been delayed. I can honestly say that we've been delayed. And my spirits are acknowledging it. And trust me, they are pissed. Because we should have been back in my hometown. There's a spot that I really want to go to, that where I'll have privacy, where I can do the bonfires, because when I do those bonfires, that is releasing my spirits and the energies of my intention of clearing you, of cleansing you, of healing you. And those fires have to be done. Keep in mind, my ancestors were shamans. That's how they did it. I'll tell y'all that in a minute, KG. I'll tell y'all that in a minute. Let me through so much for taking what I'm saying seriously, because it is very serious. Okay. And so all of those things have to be done. Now, I know that there's an agenda, because somebody apparently has the negative karma of a sexless marriage or something. I have no idea what's going on, but there's been an agenda. There's been threats. There's been harassment. There's been swatting. There's been abuse, because I'm being kept in Georgia. And I'm going to tell you something. I got confirmation yesterday that I am being supported by the Georgia government to go home. They're like, yes, you need to go home. And I will protect them. As long as they protect me, I will protect them. Because that's where we belong. I've done all the work that I'm supposed to do in Georgia. I've done a lot of missionary work in Georgia. I've planted the seeds of not destruction. I planted very powerful seeds of healing and peace and hope in Georgia. And it's time for us to go. So at some point, somewhere between now and Maybon, which we're at basically, to me, it's the beginning of August. We're about mid-August right now. And so a part of the ritual is going to have to be the fires, which will be done in my pit. Of course, I still have my fire pit. I always keep my fire pit. And so that part of it will be done when I get home. Right now, and it needs to be done quick. We cannot continue to wait on this. Everything that I tell y'all that I'm going to do, I always do it. And then I always record it. I always record it so y'all can see that it's been done. And usually the people that are in the group will get a private video. So when I do those fires, I'm not sending out negativity, and demons and stuff. That's healing energy. And we need it because we're literally being taken out. We're literally just being bombarded with this negativity of other people, and we don't deserve it. Chaos and confusion and anger and just everything, instead of people maybe possibly doing the work, the inner work, because it takes inner work to transmute your negativity. They're not doing that. What they're doing is they're projecting all of that negative karma, whatever it is that they fear, whatever it is that they feel that was done to them as children. And it's not fair. It's not fair. The seeds and things that, I mean, our parents, they made mistakes. I've acknowledged because, my mother made a mistake before she left this earth, a big mistake that she feels bad for. Okay. The things that they did to lay down the seeds. I know that my grandmother planted powerful seeds for her kids because my grandmother loved her children. She wanted what was best for us. She was very proud of her family. She loved us. And they're trying to dismantle that. They're checking Akashic records. They're researching your family. They're stalking your families. They're contacting your families. Please believe that when some strange person comes up in your inbox in social media, that is not a coincidence. Or somebody that claims that they are a spiritual worker that's there to help. I don't really trust them. I don't do that. I've never done that. People typically come to me. Now, here lately, what I've been having to do for the past couple of years is I've been having to follow up with older clients, which is nothing wrong with doing that. But it's something that is not normal for me. And that is because I've been somehow carrying the karmic destiny of something of the frauds. I've never had to do that. People have always came to me. And that ain't even normal. I ain't never that and so spirit has been addressing that. But at the same time, I think that what has been more important to spirit is making sure that we are protected from death and violence, because if they can't project that onto you, if they can't put that karma onto you, then they'll want to take your life. And whatever it is, like they don't even care. As long as they have it off of them, they'd rather go to jail. They'll go to jail for taking a person's life. They will. As long as they got that off of them, that they will go and just feel at peace in jail. They will. This is the mentality of those people. And that's not fair. It's not fair for the victims that they're stalking, either privately or out in the open. That's not fair because you have all of the hope and all of the, you're supposed to be experiencing happiness. And you're not. You're not experiencing happiness. You're not. In fact, what you're supposed to be experiencing in the material world, they are. But the only difference is that they don't have your spirit. So the nice spacious homes that you and your family are supposed to live in, that you ended up in an extended stay or a little tiny home, which nothing wrong with tiny home, because homes is where the heart is. Okay. They've been experiencing the fruits of your karmic destiny of abundance and prosperity while being miserable within it. And the way that they maintain it is constant projection, constant onto you. Everything that you're supposed to experience, the things that you're supposed to have, where you're the homes that you're supposed to live in with your families, and you're supposed to be happy at Yule or Christmas or whatever you celebrate, they're doing it, but they're only replicating it because they're miserable the whole time because it doesn't really belong to them. Those people are avoiding their karma if they are an alcoholic, if they are a drug addict, if they are somebody that literally should be in a position to where they're either getting help, okay? They're supposed to be possibly in jail. They're experiencing your bliss and happiness while you struggle and while they try to distract you and bully you. And they're doing rituals to do it. Not only that, they're going forward in the timeline. They're not just looking at this current, they're looking at your children and grandchildren's future generations, and they're stealing it, all of the energy from the future generations as well. Okay, this is a fact. Um, so they're not even necessarily taking from you necessarily, but they're separating you. They're fragmenting you somehow while being able to replicate you because who they really are, all that negative karma is being sent to you. So there's a lot of different things to break it down. This is the reason why I use the cards. Like for example, prior to everybody coming into the circle of Maybon, I'm gonna throw the cards and I'm gonna ask spirits what energies are we gonna be dealing with. And it's certain codes and certain messages in those cards that are gonna tell me how they're gonna be doing it, how they've been doing it. It's been going on since hard bodies since the millennium, but it got worse in 2012. 2012 is kind of when they got basically being able to transfer their negative karma to you is what it's all about. So what we're going to be doing during the Maybon group is clearing you of that, as well as blocking that out. Okay. Um, what I wanted to start to do, because I can literally make a spirit doll, depending on how long the petition is. Are you giving that to me? Depending on how long the petition is. What I want to do is an individual spirit doll for everybody eventually, which is why I want to get started in advance. And then that spirit doll will be sent to you and you can keep it forever. You can do whatever you want to do with it. Okay. But Maybon is going to be important because Maybon is when the earth transitions from half daylight to half night. And see, that represents balance. When things are off balance in the summertime, it's kind of different in the fall. That's why a lot of people really love the fall. It's very peaceful, and that balance is really good for people to have. But for example, if you're a person that loves nature, okay, like myself, I'm gonna use myself as an example. I love nature. I like to go outside and get fresh air every now and then. I like to do rituals out in nature. But do I want to be homeless, a nomad, sleeping outside? No, I don't. Of course not. In fact, my zodiac sign represents the home and the hearth. I'm a Cancer. My whole zodiac in existence with the crab and the shell represents my home. So there's no way that I should be experiencing that, and I never have in my life until I started getting people transferring their karma to me. I'm not a drug addict. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't have any mental illnesses that incapacitate me. I haven't done anything to anybody. So why would I be running from pillar to post ever? You see what I'm saying? So that is an example. And those spirits, they are considered to be vagabond spirits is what they call them. But that energy, it's people have been if y'all notice that certain people have been trying to put that off on me and my family since 2019 officially, but I think that it was the seeds were being laid down prior to that. And I don't know, it's probably their fears or whatever, or their problems. I have no idea. So, that's the kind of example that I'm telling you about. Now, do I have 100 million percent confidence that I will get through that and I'm going to end up living the way that I should be living? And I'm talking about shortly. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right. It's just that right now in the in between, it is not going to be good for us because we should have been home well over a month ago. Instead, things were being done to keep us here, which I don't understand why. That's not happening anymore because it's time to go. Okay. So I don't mean to waste your time talking about that because those are my personal problems, but it is coming and from and deriving from all of the attacks. Anybody that's gang stalking a person should lose their merit automatically. I'm sorry. Like, nobody should listen to you. Like you're obviously up to no good. No, I shouldn't be judged, neither should my children, neither should anybody else by somebody that is literally corrupt enough to be gang stalking somebody and threatening people and doing what these people do. Okay. So every single day, it's been every day. It's been every day. It's been the agenda. That's why I've been asking people to ignore that. We've got work to do. It's not just being done to me by my adversaries, but it's being done to you. You're distracting yourself from it doesn't matter. And I know that having a job and working for somebody else, having a job and working for somebody else kind of covers up what's happening until you get sick or something. When you get sick, that's when you realize, or either you lose that job or something, or either something happens, and then that's what wakes people up to it. That's when they realize something ain't right, when people on the job are acting funny towards them. Okay. When people at the job are acting funny, when stuff start getting weird and you like, what's going on? This ain't life. I feel like I'm in the damn Twilight Zone. hmm For somebody like me that 100% earns my, that nobody's paying me, I pay myself, that's going to make the situation a lot more challenging, but it's also going to make me stay on top of things too. It's just been a tug of war, y'all. So the preliminary work that I'm going to do for Maybon, we're starting on it now. My hands are kind of greasy because I'm eating something. Thank the gods. Thank you, God, that I've got food to put in my mouth right now. Because I can't not eat, you know what I'm saying? And I've been battling with so many different spirits, y'all, and just what's crazy to me is that the very same people that on a regular basis blindly they conjure bad spirits onto this earth, and the work that I do actually benefits them as well, but then I end up getting screwed. And that can't be happening. No, no, no. That's not fair. It's not fair for me to constantly be bombarded. Just look at Africa. Just look at the world. The spirit of famine, the spirit of homelessness, the spirit of death, the spirit of murder, the spirit of all of that. Those things are very, I technically would never conjure up, but I will conjure up protection from that. So I don't do things like that. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a lot of stuff going on. And what I've been doing is serving as a watcher and a keeper of the peace. So, that, and it's been hard. Trust me, it has been hard, especially because there's a lot of people that I feel they've been lied to. I feel like a lot of people have been tricked. I feel like some of these people that have targeted me do factually represent the spirit of destruction. And when you see somebody like me doing the work that I do, those people don't want nothing but destruction and death for y'all. That's why I don't want my name being used anymore. You know, and they don't care. They'll even use Jesus's name, and they'll have that's what you call the wolves in sheep's clothing. Okay, and I'm definitely not a. Now I will say this straight up and down. I love wolves. I think they're beautiful animals. But my energy is very protective like a wolf. I am very protective like that. It's just, that's one of my spirit animals. So, you know, whatever. Um, so yeah, we're gonna be doing Maybon, and it's starting now. Ooh, that's good. What I would like for y'all to do is schedule a quick mini read, and when you enter into the Maybon group, what I do, because I stay very organized, I always keep notes. I keep track of it. Make note of your reading is what I do. I always take consultation notes. And what I do is, once I'm sitting down and I'm doing that, I know exactly what I need to do for your individual situation, and as well as what I'm doing overall for the group. So, um, my goal is to have a pretty large group. Okay. And it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. And I think that if you've never been here to work with me, I know for a fact that you'll be pleasantly surprised at the work that I do. I know that there's been people that have been trying to demonize me socially. That's been getting done a lot. And that's just being done out of ignorance because people, all they see is money. Oh, we want to stop our money. We want to do this. We want to do that. Well, you know what? It's not just about money. But then again, if I'm going to be doing this work, and then not only that, when my clients need my help, all they have to do is text me when something is going on. So, and my phone number is not a complaint line. It's a line of communication. Is what it is. It's not for complaints. Because honestly, don't lose sight of that, because I think some people have lost sight of that. I think, and I've actually, this is very rare and few and far between, but I have seen it happen to where clients will start to not realize that their spiritual problems, that the things that they've been having that has been affecting their actual physical earth. I didn't create that for you. Like, that was something that was done to you by an outside force, and you had those issues when you came to me. And it's not my fault, honestly. When it's time for you to release and let go, and then also with what I was telling you guys about your timelines being manipulated, okay, and being invaded. When it's time for you to deal with what spirit needs you to deal with, sometimes it don't matter what's going on. Y'all know that movie with Demi Moore? I love that movie. I might watch that when I get off of here. I think, is it called The Seventh Sign? The one where Demi Moore was pregnant. Hold on, y'all. I gotta get me some milk. The one with Demi Moore when she was pregnant and all that other stuff was going on. A lot of the spiritual stuff that you have going on, being pregnant, I think that because it was like this pregnant woman going through all this stuff with spirit and with God and all this stuff. It don't matter if you're pregnant. It comes sometimes when at the most opportune time. So it don't even matter. You can be pregnant. You can be going through whatever. And it's very complicated the way that it works, as far as, like, especially when it comes to certain dates. Um, Like, those days where you have a particularly bad day, you need to pay attention to that date. That date might be connected or tied to something. That's not a coincidence. If you had a diary or some kind of journal, you'll probably even be able to go back a couple of years and see that for like maybe the past 10 years, you've been experiencing that same thing on that same date for the past decade, you know? So I'm sorry, my hands are kind of greasy. Um, because I had to eat something. We had to eat something. We all ate something, So, and it's pretty delicious. Mm-hmm. What you use to make this tortilla shell? Mm, it's freaking awesome. Tastes better than anything we ever bought from the grocery store. It just tastes fresh. So, hey, Unicali. So I'm sorry. I would figure out how much I'm going to charge for Maybon. The thing of it is that what my spirits have been trying to correlate and let people know is that can't always have set prices and the same price for everybody because some people have more issues than others. I'll tell you something, the deeper the soul, the older your soul is, you might be possessing many, many, many spiritual gifts. You might be connected to so much light frequency. Not saying that one person is more special than the other, but everybody has different needs sometimes. So that's one thing that I learned is that, can't always have a set blanket for everybody. I mean, you know how bad your spiritual problems are. A lot of the karmics know how bad their spiritual issues are, and you know what I mean? We all got it. We all getting it though, especially with the situation. But since we're working towards the same goal in general, then we should be able to have a set price. I'm going to ask because I'm sure that we are. And that's basically what we're doing when we're doing the cleanses. A lot of people the past couple of years have been trying to say, well, send that energy to me. I'm going to do what I want to do with it. Many, many people are finding out the hard way that that was a big mistake. Mm-mm. There's a difference between energy and then karma. Karma is typically protected, but karma not protected. Karma is typically connected and manifests itself as a certain thing or situation or scenario. Karma is connected to the past. You know what I mean? Okay, good night, Unicali. So let me see here. I'm sorry, y'all. I had to eat something that was really good. Okay, give me a second. Are we gonna have a set price for Maybon? Yes or no? Okay. Yeah, it is. It's gonna be a set price. How much is it? Oh God. And right off the bat, they already showing me Ten of Pentacles inverted, the Emperor inverted. Right now, what we dealing with is sins of the father. Oh my God. Uh, how much is it? How much should each participant pay to get in? Okay, is that, hold on, y'all, because I got Seven of Cups. Oh goodness, Seven of Cups, Queen of Wands upright, Nine of Cups inverted, the Chariot inverted, and the Death card upright. Is that $79? Yes or no? No, it's for some reason the number 79 comes up. 79 came up is how much it's gonna be. And what they're seeing is a lot of people getting into Maybon, which I could see that. So it's $79. Oh yeah, there's good karma, absolutely. I I don't know, like you know what, Unicali, you know what I do? I avoid the streets, my like literally my whole life. Like I avoided the streets. Oh, you was thinking seven too? Yeah, that's definitely what came up. The Seven of Cups inverted came up. Um, hold on. Yep, Seven of Cups came up inverted, which is connected to Neptune and water. The Queen of Wands came up upright. Nine of Cups inverted. The Chariot inverted, and then the Eight of Swords. So there's going to be a lot of very valuable and specific workings. Now, obviously, when it comes to work, y'all know when it comes to group workings, what you can expect is almost like this spark. And the work with a piece, you guys will all get your own doll for Maybon, but you can't expect for that one Sabbath working to fix everything, and but you will see results, and people typically will see instant results, especially if you what I can sense is that there is a lot of people, and I'll have to see because Temperance came up too, which is connected to Neptune, and there's a couple of Neptune cards that came up in the moon. um this is just for the price, so I'd have to see, but definitely cleansing, karma cleansing, other people's karma cleansing is what we're going to be doing. And, a lot of people are like, well, As was mentioned earlier. Okay, let's go back to I don't know if KG is still here. KG asks how much it is. That other message ain't here no more. The person that came in said, "Can you do a reading and tell me, um, like, when this dude on here that a lot that's basically stalking everybody, and he don't want the karma of it. He want to stalk people, and he don't want the karma from it. He really honestly don't." But somebody was asking me like, what, you know, uh, how long before he has a heart attack. So a lot of y'all, like, intuitively, like, y'all know that some of your enemies, they are trying to transfer their heart attack vibes to you. So y'all will be like, this is bad. I don't want to bring this to Jamila. I know that some of y'all are like, it's pretty bad. But that's something that you don't have to worry about, because I've always been protected, and so have my loved ones. Like, I've got a very powerful spirit team. So I don't ever worry about, like I know these people are throwing stuff at your heart, and they're doing all that kind of stuff, throwing negativity, and it's making you feel very heavy in the heart. It's making you feel, some type of way. But for me, I'm a high priestess, and it doesn't bother me. Like, I stay clear. And then plus, if I ever felt that something was going on, I don't just throw ingredients together. Like, my salt, that salt that I make for Aries, something like that, it would immediately block it. It would immediately. So what you would experience is, you would experience that, just that heartache and pain. And then the moment I throw that red salt on that, and I got to make another batch of it too, by the way, guys. So I'll be making that hopefully sometime today. Pretty much what it lifts it off of you. And so a lot of y'all have anxiety too, and so y'all like, I got anxiety and I ain't feeling well, and so I'll sit with I'm like, just sit with it, breathe, and then you like, oh, okay, yeah, I do feel better. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people are actually shocked and amazed at, like, how it works. And so, people are like, how did you do that? I've been having that issue for like the past 20 years. How did I've been feeling like that? And a feeling does not necessarily mean that something is going to happen, but a feeling can make you miserable. A feeling can make you fearful all the time. And then, especially if you are stepping it a step further and you have like actual anxiety, now that's when something is going on. So, like, you know, um, yeah. So that's when, like any of my family, like my kids normally, they don't have anxiety or whatever, because I like for them to be distracted, either playing their games or listening to their music or whatever. Because whatever it is that I'm dealing with a lot. Like, they don't have to experience that with me. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're going through other things, which is, missing their mama and seeing their mama go through it, seeing that, but so like, for example, like, if they do experience that, then I know exactly what to do to get rid of it. You know what I'm saying? And just to fill up that whole room. And like I told y'all, I can do house cleansings from here, from other locations. I don't have to remotely be at your house. I'm sorry. I don't have to physically be at your house. I offer house cleansings remotely. So, and those are things that I definitely do need to put on my link tree so that people will know that I do stuff like that. Um, But there's a way to clean your house from, and I do suggest that y'all burn, uh not everybody wants to burn sage, but I do suggest that y'all burn some mugwort, or maybe even some camphor incense, because they got some really good camphor incense or whatever. um at the same time helps it. But the house cleansings, that the work doesn't have to, people are kind of confused about how is it that we're able to do spiritual work for people, even sometimes in other countries. Oh yeah, it's definitely possible, and it depends on the experience and the understanding, and I guess the confidence of whoever it is that you're working with. So I know that right now, um, do I fear evil? No, I don't. Am I tired of it? Yes, I am. Am I ready to not let it continue to hold me back? Because earlier today I was thinking, damn, I need to do a road opener for myself. Uh, and technically I already did that, because I not only for one of my clients, I actually did uh a timeline. I did karmic timeline work, which is extremely powerful. And typically, mm, it definitely did produce some results. It did. It was other things happening within that obviously I couldn't control. But it's like I said, guys, we have got to assert ourselves and say, listen, we cannot suffer anymore for what someone else did, for what other people are doing. You know what I mean? We cannot do that. We cannot. That's not cool. A lot of y'all are suffering, like, you're going through things that based upon certain substances and crimes that other people committed. Have you ever noticed that, to where, especially since I've been displaced, for extra time. Here it is August. We've been displaced, and we live like in a it's like an apartment. It's really nice. It's got an oven, it's got a stove or whatever. It's doable. We're content with it until we leave, which should be, I'm not gonna say. Okay. But I've had people kind of talk to me like I'm on drugs. I'm like, I'm not on drugs. I'm like, why are you talking to me like I'm a drug addict? I've never done drugs in my life. Well, that is because I believe that, because there was people that obviously did drugs, that they were projecting it to me. I'm like, I have never. I'm tell you something. Marijuana. I've been smoking marijuana since I was 12. I started smoking marijuana when I was 11 years old. Yeah, I will admit to that. That doesn't make me a drug addict, because I don't smoke right now at all, and it's not something that I'm addicted to. In fact, I can't smoke. I don't. I'm not where I want to be. And probably once I get to where I want to be, I just want to be present in that moment. I want to be fully there. And marijuana actually has a different effect on me than it does other people. What marijuana does for me is it enhances, not disconnects me from what's around me. When I start feeling disconnected, that's when I'm like, I don't want to be disconnected. I like to feel grounded. You know what I'm saying? I don't never like to feel out of my head. And so if I ever, puff on some bud or whatever and it makes me feel that way, I'll immediately start, eating something, drinking some water, drinking some milk, drinking some juice, and I'll start because I don't like the way that feels. So I rather just not smoke at all because um if it gives me any kind of anxiety to where I feel out of place. And I think that the few times that I smoked before it was probably because I was around somebody that I can't I can't connect to that. And so I rather just not smoke at all or drink. I haven't drank. I did have some very low percentage alcohol. I had some, what was that? It was some sparkling red wine on New Year's. And that's because the Airbnb that I was at was really, really nice. That we were at was really, really nice. And he had like, he had like a bottle and some glasses. It was really nice. I really did like him. It was, um, and so I had that, and that was it. I haven't drank any alcohol since then because I just, I'm like, mm-mm. And when and y'all know I love my red wine. I don't like having a codependency to it. It's okay to drink it to relax sometimes, but if you constantly need wine to relax, that's codependency. And so that's something that I don't really like. So I've been wanting to keep a complete sober. And then I don't drink when I'm upset about something or going through something. And I've been going through way too much. So, I drink when I'm celebrating. I drink wine when I'm happy. I don't drink when I feel troubled. And I don't think it's good for the spirit. And then there's people that you should be consecrating your liquor and your weed before you smoke it and drink it. And there's some people that are just like, I'm going to get a bottle. I've seen people do it. They'll just go get a bottle of vodka and they don't consecrate it. They don't clear it of any spirits. Denying that these spirits exist is a huge mistake. It's a huge mistake. They're there. You just can't see them. But you can sometimes sense them. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't always good. They ain't always bad. But any spirits that ain't supposed to be there, you know what I'm saying? Why is it there? So that's the one thing that I think a lot of people don't like the witches for is because we acknowledge spirit. And I don't know exactly when or why we all of a sudden started going into denial about spirits, but that's not gonna do you any good because if to deny spirit is gonna deny to me God. How you gonna have like because there's a God comes with many spirits. So I just you know what I mean? What's happening in the world is just like really disturbing. It's really disturbing. So anyway, it's gonna be 79. I'll probably do 79.99. And what I would suggest is definitely getting a mini read, which I still have my crash sale going on because guys, this is literally how I support my family. And just because somebody decided that they wanted to assert false authority onto me does not mean that I shouldn't be running my business. In fact, my spirits today or yesterday, they was telling me, that that's gonna be difficult. Like they're already I'm already doing the psychic hotline, I don't want to do any work outside of what I'm doing, except with an exception of some kind of art job or interior design. And see, what y'all don't know is, and what we haven't talked about, I haven't brought this up in years, but I used to have a couple of websites. One of them was an e-commerce website where I sold spiritual decor. So I would do that. And then also I love art. So I used to, I used to attract a lot of artists that, could paint and stuff like that and do sculptures. And, I want that back because that's what I'm into. You know what I'm saying? So, and to me, that's still going along with the going in the lines of spirituality, because art, well, first of all, it can imitate life, but it can affect our lives. And a lot of people don't really know how you can literally keep yourself so grounded, protect yourself just by keeping a pentagram posted on the wall, and I need to practice what I actually uh thingy, but I like to have my tapestries and stuff, and frame wall art where it's, spiritual decor. So I was doing that. So that's pretty much it. Like, I'm into art, and I'm into I guess you could say I'm into feng shuiing your environment. But then again, I'm also into uh the craft and doing readings. It's, and so I worked for 30 plus years, doing other stuff, and I had nothing but problems the whole time. And I know that a lot of us have problems on our jobs for different reasons, but I realized that spirit kept contacting me at work. I would have started doing this in my 20s had I been listening to spirit. And I wish I had a, I really do. I wish I had a done it years ago, but you can't go back and change it. And then plus, there was a lot that I know now that I didn't know when I first started practicing. 'Cause I knew. And then, and then it's still evolving. You know what I'm saying? It's constantly evolving, and shifting. Not all the time, every single day though, but it does kind of, and I feel like it's like levels to it, and like it seems like every year I learn something different. So, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm being contacted by so many spirits, and then I'm watching over so many people, not just my clients, but of course my children and grandchildren. And right now, I'm involved in things that are deeply political at this point. And it just, my spirits are like, you can't do that. Like, can you imagine if because I can type, and then also I can't work outside of the home. Definitely not working outside of the home. I've been working from home for like the past 20 years, 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I feel comfortable with. Um, Far before I came to YouTube, I was working from home. So, I could get a work from home job, but being that I earn my own bread and butter and I do it in social media, by advertising my services, which are extremely valuable, why should that be disrupted? Why? Because I honestly feel like where my craft was not perfected 5 years ago, it is now. But then again, 5 years ago, I didn't really need to know that. Like my spirits is that, they're kind of like those, a lot that I've learned the past 5 years, my spirit guides are kind of like, those are things that you didn't really need to know, but I'm glad that you finally listened to me so that you can know how to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? Like some of these various spirits that do what they do, make people sick, bring certain energy to people, you know what I'm saying? Like that was stuff that I had to learn anyway, but we had to go to the strongest thing possible to protect you and to protect us, to protect my clients and to protect my family. So like for example, the next batch of salt of Aries that I make, it's going to have sulfur in it. It's going to have sulfur, which is crazy. And those things wouldn't even be necessary. Like it literally pisses me off every time I have to use sulfur. I hate using sulfur. It stinks. It smells like rotten eggs. I'd rather use cinnamon. But I have to use sulfur. And the reason why those things are necessary is because you have people with free will that are able to conjure certain spirits here. And I wish that they wouldn't, but we got to have sulfur. And I actually do have some, I got to dig out my sulfur. I think I got some sulfur left. I might have to get some. So, unless you've actually done this and you've actually done spiritual work for people, and I'm talking about a lot of people, I've done spiritual work for a lot of people. Okay. And I've already been through the thing to where I cleared myself of, anything that was related to the job. So that, that's been handled and dealt with. And then also another thing, the way we're handling not being invaded. Because sometimes when y'all come and get a reading, those entities, they are right there watching. And they want you where they want you. They want you where they want you, and that's it. For whatever reason, monitoring spirits that are sent to dominate you, to oppress you, to cause problems and chaos, spirits and entities that's there to collect energy. And that sucks. People have a right to protect their energy, you know? But back to the main purpose, the sole purpose of Maybon that we're working on right now is not suffering for the sins of others. Even though you may have made mistakes, I can imagine that most people haven't made some of the mistakes that other people have made. Major things that I'm not even going to speak of, unspeakable things that people have done that has led them to perpetually try to push their bad energy off on you. You know what I'm saying? But it's not just that. It'll definitely be transmuting of, what you may have, of mistakes that you may have made, because you have every right to do that. There's nobody that it's condemnation is something that I know for a fact I'm going to rarely see in my life. Now, if you're somebody that's doing the same thing, you making the same mistake, trying to hurt people, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 years, and you just keep doing it, and then maybe condemnation to maybe that person does need to be condemned. And that person can't just say, well, I can do that to you because you're a witch. And no, you can't. It does not work that way. I'm going to tell y'all something. I kept getting told that. And there were times when I was under attack. And guess who showed up and saved me? None other than Jesus Christ. So, you can't tell me because I'm a witch, I'm an evil, bad person that deserves to die and suffer. No, no. You know what I'm saying? So, and that if anybody has that kind of fantasy in they head, they're fooling themselves. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, that's pretty much it. Also, another thing as it relates to Jesus, the one thing that yesterday that I was picking up on is that it's too many people that are pulling in the negativity and the destruction from the past. And in this current incarnation, you've been rebirthed. You don't have to suffer for that. And Jesus told me that too, because he was speaking to me about evolving, about evolution, how we're supposed to evolve from the past, right? The past can be used as a good foundation of understanding, but to have those things happening in current times is ridiculous. And, so I think, um, then again, a lot of people will be like, well, if I'm able to conjure a bad spirit from the past, then that means that it was destined to be here. Well, that's not necessarily true, because there is knowledge and wisdom of stopping people from doing that, because that's exactly what they're doing. And it's happening way too much, and if you are a bad spirit, of course you would like to, so that's something that goes along with like quantum physics and space time continuum and all of that stuff, which is something that is a part of witchcraft and metaphysics uh that we're dealing with. Otherwise, I would have loved to have just stuck with the folk magic and stuff like that. But it is something that we all have to be well versed on and learned on. And what I do is I just work it in with I just work it in automatically now. I just get it in. You know what I'm saying? So, anywho, um, I'm running the crash sale now. I would really, really, really appreciate it if you guys would buy readings. I come in peace. You are protected. I am not like other people. You're not going to come to my business. And because I had somebody tell me, they were like, oh, well, I just don't need any more spirits right now. And I'm like, what do you think that you're going to come to me? And that's not, I don't do that. I don't do that. And I don't do traps either. I don't do that. Okay. And I think that there's been a lot of people that have been creating so much distrust, and not just surrounding getting readings, because, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I went to somebody to get a reading years ago, and that person didn't do nothing but open the doors to a bunch of weirdo chaos in my life. And however, I have every right at all times to keep those doors closed. Not her, not a group of people has the right to try to pull me into that or trap me. And it's like, oh my God, like mama, where's my mama at? Because my mother was a very quiet person. She, I mean, of course she talks. My mother even drank beer. She was a fun person to be around, to watch TV with. But I wasn't, from the time I was a little kid, I didn't have all that stuff. I'm not used to that. And it's very upsetting to my spirit. It really is. And my kids are not used to that either. Because believe it or not, you know, like when I had my three older children, they were really rambunctious. But I kept my house peaceful. I have never been the type of person that kept up a bunch of chaos at home around my kids. I didn't like that. I always had an instinct to, keep that away from them, so that their minds could grow and be healthy. You know what I'm saying? So I can promise you that a bunch of chaos, a bunch of toxicity, trauma, drama, too many cuss words, and just bad energy, that is not good for anybody. This is the reason why we use sage to clear it. This is the reason why we ground ourselves. This is the reason why we do that. And, nobody should be purposely doing that. But I think that what is obvious, because honestly, I went into hermit mode back in 2015. And what I would do to deal with my own stuff, that whatever was connected to my soul karmically, I would take spiritual baths. I would take cinnamon baths. It wasn't a bunch of cinnamon, like, child. Like, I'm talking about literally just a little, and you know what I'm saying? And that way you don't feel no burn. Because if you're in a bathtub, you want to make sure it's dissolved. But for some reason, them cinnamon baths are very powerful. And so I would take those, and of course I would have salt and other herbs in it. And I really do need to take a spiritual bath, and I need to be able to relax um, and everything for a few days. It's been a certain people, a certain person that has been keeping up shit, kicking up shit. It sucks. All I got to say is that something is going to be done about it. But yeah, it's a mistake telling some people where you live. Some people do not need to know where you live. That's just what that is, okay? And even when I buy a house, I tell you one thing. When I purchase a house, y'all, my house is gonna somehow, I'm gonna talk to a real estate agent. How do I put my house in a fictitious name, business name? I do not want, no. I do not commit crimes. I ain't up to no good, but all that driving by, and people will come by your house and throw evil eye at you and stuff, like, you know what I'm saying? And and especially if you're in social media, if a person is in social media, hell, You really need to tighten up your security. Hey, Thaddeus. I didn't see you. How you doing? Yeah, it's 4:56 here, so yeah. Welcome. So anyway, y'all, that's pretty much it. I'll post the information about Maybon to my community wall, and I will get it put up on well, that's a good idea. Staring at the moon definitely does help with it, with insomnia. Absolutely. Um what I was going to say to y'all is that I'll get it up on the thing on the, on the link tree and everything. Okay. And I think that that's the main aspect of it. The spirit told me, they said you need to, they was like, you're literally carrying the burden. Do I give live personal readings? I don't really like doing the Trinity. I can. I don't really have time to, like, right now at the moment. Like maybe once I get settled and get things realigned, because my scales got tipped off balance totally. And then once I get home, I'll be able to do things like that. But right now, at this moment, I can't. Right now, I just need to get people in here for personal private readings, and then also to help as many people as I can. Whoever it is I'm supposed to help. Obviously, if I'm here and I've been in business doing this for 10 years, obviously there are people that I'm meant to help. You know what I'm saying? So, how you doing anyway, Trinity? So anyway, I'll post it, and I'm still doing my crash sale. And guys, I keep mentioning that because this is how I earn a living. I don't normally come at people like that. What you're getting is very high quality when it comes to the readings, and then also you're in good hands. We don't do anything underhanded, which is why Spirit said you got to get untrustworthy people out of your life, because their energy is affecting you. Instead of doing all that extra work to ward that person's energy, because obviously if you have a person with bad energy and they have an intention to stay in your business, and an obsession, a literal obsession with trying to close down your business, like, I don't get that. What's that about? Those people ultimately are going to find out the hard way that you can't just do that. You can't just make a judgment for somebody else. You can only judge for you. You can't say what somebody else is supposed to be doing. So, basically what I'm doing is I'm just getting people in here for readings and trying to get people encouraged to come in. I don't beg people for nothing. I've been getting accused of begging. Again, do I have is that negative karma being sent to me? And how is it being sent to me? How is that energy being sent to me? Well, it can be various sources. Oh, thank you for becoming a member, Trinity. I love you, sis. Love you, girl. Um, I'm in the business of healing people. I'm in the business, that's just at the core of my being. Ask anybody on. It's not that I'm a people pleasing type of person with histrionic personality disorder or nothing. I just, if I see somebody hurting and in pain, I like for them not to hurt anymore. I think that's probably usually at the core in general of every healer. I mean, it would make no sense for you to you know. Anyway, I appreciate you becoming a member. Thank you. All right, guys. I will see y'all soon, and have a good morning. Okay. Have a happy Thursday. And I don't know, I might here's another thing. I might do some live personal reads. I'm not sure. I have to ask spirits permission. Doing these general readings is just general, and they can be totally different because everybody has a different circumstance that they're dealing with at that moment in their lives. So, we can't really just depend on. I mean, it's good because you can see certain signs, especially if you throw your own cards, and then you see certain things trending for your zodiac, which is fine. But I think that especially when it comes to certain things like your finances, your health, your frame of mind, that feels like you're living someone else's life and not your own, especially when you've lived your life. You're like, wait a minute, I know who I am. I know how I make it do what it do. What is happening here? This is weirdness, because this is literally not normal for me. And I know what's normal for me. Then you got somebody in your timeline, and you got somebody that is more than likely, is it dimming your light? Because they're sending you all their negative karma. So that's the first thing that we are going to be doing, is each individual person is carrying something from someone else, clearing it out. Yes, it can be cleared out. Yes, it can. And you don't have to set the person on fire. Like, you ain't got to set yourself on fire to do it. We, of course, with the and internet, this internet keeps blipping it out. So I'm gonna go, y'all. Okay. Blessings to y'all. Bye bye.